Boosie Badazz could be facing a serious 10-year sentence in his federal case. And as soon as the news broke, Charleston White rushed to the spotlight, laughing like it was a personal victory. From the moment Boosie's legal troubles hit the blogs, Charleston was live online, grinning widely and speaking as if he'd hit the jackpot. He openly admitted he'd been waiting for this day, and shockingly, said he wouldn't be bothered at all if Boosie never got out of prison. Meanwhile, Boosie had already shared with fans how worn out he felt. Earlier this month, he revealed that he had accepted a plea deal. Not because he admitted guilt, but because the battle was draining him. The case had already been dismissed once, yet prosecutors came back stronger in 2024, and now that plea could cost him a decade behind bars. While Boosie posted heartfelt prayers, leaned on faith and spoke about the weight of life pressing on him, Charleston was live, celebrating what he saw as a win, turning Boosie's hardship into entertainment. Boosie's legal issues go back years, but this case hit harder than most. It started with his arrest for carrying a weapon he wasn't allowed to have, a federal charge that doesn't go away easily. At first, things seemed to improve when the case was tossed out in 2023, and fans cheered thinking he'd finally escaped the storm. But Charleston's trolling didn't stop. He celebrated when Boosie accepted the plea, making cruel comments and hoping for his downfall, showing no empathy at all. Boosie has been fighting legal battles for about 3 years. Fans expected him to shift focus back to music, family, and normal life, but the feds weren't done. In 2024, they hit him with a new indictment for the same charge, forcing Boosie to face reality. On social media, he admitted he thought it was over, but the fight had exhausted him. Accepting the plea felt like the only option left. The case took an emotional toll. For Boosie, this wasn't just another legal battle. It was years of stress, courtroom battles, and pressure finally catching up with him. His posts carried a deep mix of faith and heartbreak. The fans who had supported him since the beginning saw a different side of him. Not the loud, combative figure they knew, but a man weary from fighting. Every word he typed reflected that heaviness, and the looming possibility of a 10-year sentence made it even more real. Charleston, on the other hand, thrived on chaos. He jumped online immediately after Boosie's setbacks, grinning as if he'd won the lottery. He claimed he'd predicted Boosie's troubles and turned the situation into a spectacle, saying outrageous things about Boosie's future in prison. This was typical of Charleston. He built his brand on being the loudest, most reckless troll, but this time it felt personal. The feud goes back further. In late 2022, during the Kanye West White Lives Matter shirt controversy, Boosie called out Kanye for disrespecting the Black community, and Charleston immediately attacked Boosie online. That's when things escalated from minor disagreements to full-blown hostility. Charleston even involved Boosie's son, Tootie Raw, and T.I.'s son, King Harris, making cruel predictions and personal attacks. Boosie kept calm, understanding that reacting recklessly could worsen his legal situation, especially when children were dragged into the conflict. By 2023, the tension had escalated. Charleston's trolling intensified, and Boosie's family got caught in the crossfire. Tootie Raw faced legal trouble involving firearms, and Charleston celebrated, bragging about sending tips to authorities as if orchestrating the situation himself. The line between internet trolling and real-life consequences blurred, and Boosie was forced to navigate carefully. He continued to respond strategically, holding back publicly while managing the internal pressure of the situation. Charleston's obsession didn't fade. He continued attacking Boosie online, turning each setback into content and making it deeply personal. Even as Boosie faced courtrooms, arrests, and serious health concerns, Charleston treated it like entertainment. The feud became a shadow over Boosie's life, something he couldn't easily escape. By early 2024, the conflict expanded further. Media appearances and collaborations were influenced by Charleston's influence. Adin Ross reportedly canceled a potential stream with Boosie, claiming he did so out of respect for Charleston, a statement that was misleading but spread quickly online. Through it all, Boosie remained calm on the surface, leaning on faith and planning carefully. Charleston, however, continued escalating, taking trolling to dangerous levels. What started as online beef had grown into a real-life struggle with serious consequences for Boosie and his family. This is not just internet drama. It's years of tension, legal battles, and personal attacks wrapped together. Boosie's fight is ongoing, and the possibility of a long prison sentence hangs over him, while Charleston continues to celebrate and escalate. It's a story of resilience, strategy, and the harsh realities of having your life played out in public, where every misstep is amplified and every moment of vulnerability becomes someone else's entertainment. The drama had been spreading across social media like wildfire until DJ Vlad stepped in and shut it down. He called out Aiden Ross hard, reminding everyone that Charleston White had a long history of saying outrageous things, praising people no one should praise and even denying real historical tragedies. Vlad didn't hold back, and the incident highlighted just how much influence Charleston had. Even younger influencers and streamers were using his name for attention. Clout off his chaos had become a trend. Charleston didn't slow down, though. Later that March, he returned online with another rant. He claimed Boozie had warned promoters not to book him and twisted the story into threats. He even said he had already tipped off the feds, making it sound like he was ready to escalate at any moment. He also brought Boozie's health into the mix, just to make it personal, and went live, swearing he would get Boozie in trouble with the FBI. As usual, he offered no evidence, just a loud mouth and a lot of drama, but saying it repeatedly was enough for people to start believing it. Boozie even admitted he was getting calls from inmates asking when he was arriving in prison, which was humiliating. Boozie had no desire to go to trial, and who could blame him? Facing a federal courtroom with Charleston White around would have been chaotic. Charleston thrives on chaos. He loves turning situations into a show. He has openly admitted to cooperating with law enforcement in the past. When he was 14, he testified in a serious juvenile case, something that street culture rarely forgives. Even though he was just a teenager, people still call him out for snitching, but Charleston owns it. He says he was young, telling the truth and doing what he had to survive. Footage from that old case resurfaced online, sparking a wave of criticism. People accused him of hypocrisy, calling other rappers rats while proudly confessing to snitching himself. Charleston didn't care. He said he never lived by a street code and never claimed to. Yet he continued calling others out, showing the contradiction that confuses many. Looking at the timeline, it's clear why Boozie chose the plea deal. He didn't want to risk a trial, especially knowing Charleston could show up and turn the courtroom into a circus. Every time Charleston mocked Boozie, dragged his family, or went live online, it all seemed to build up to this moment. Now Boozie faces the possibility of a 10-year sentence, and Charleston is online celebrating like he just won a championship. This conflict started in 2022, and it's far from over. If Charleston is this loud while Boozie is still free, imagine the chaos if he ends up behind bars.